Hello again, Rebecca here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another beginner's guide to mixed media. So I am going to play with my How to Kill a Kit with Style. So this big boy right here. I am going to pull out the Tutti Frutti Summer Stamp of the Month from Close to My Heart. I don't know if it's still available, but it's S2108. It's probably not. But I'm going to create a vertical strip. I am going to scrapbook these 4 pictures because they're relatively the same. You just have people looking, the kids are all looking in different directions at some point. So we are going to, I want to use this scrap right here from the Echo Park Best Summer Ever. I want to use this as my inspiration for the colors. So I'm going to go and pull some Distress Oxides and maybe even some Distress in all of these colors. I just wanted to pop in real quick, kind of tell you what I'm doing. I have no idea what else I'm going to do. I also would really like to use the rest of that up. Not sure if that's going to happen or not. But we have tons in this kit, so it's going to be okay, right? So let me go pull some ink, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have got my colors picked out. I have 3 Distress Oxides and 3 just Distress inks. So we've got, in the Distress Oxide, we've got Cracked Pistachio, Picked Raspberry, Worn Lipstick, and these 2 look like that. This one's a new one, just in case you wanted to know. But I used to store them like this. Okay. And one of them leaked. But anyway, that's like that because I just have a little piece of Velcro right there just to keep the ink dauber with the color. So that's why there's like little marks. And then in the Distress ink, I have Shaded Lilac, Abandoned Coral, and Dried Marigold to match these colors. Now, I know you're like, that's not going to match that yellow. But in my swatch book, it was the closest one to that bright yellow, even though it looks like a little orangey here. Not real sure what's going to happen with that. But, so we are going to do some repeat stamping to create a border elements. Boop, push those all to the side. So let me get everything set up and I will come back and we'll kind of do that together. All right, so I picked out the stamp that I want. It just says summer, and I'm just going to basically do summer all the way up. So I'm going to prep my stamp, and by doing that, if I've never used it before, I just rub it on my arm just to get the oils of my skin on it. Some people will repeat stamp until they get the color they like. I just go with that. So we're going to start with a Worn Lipstick. And we're just going to make sure our stamp's the right way. And I'm not really, if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. But we are going to start. I'm going to run it off the page. Can you guys see that? Probably not. Okay, let's move it up. I'm going to start it off the page. And I don't have any ink right there. Okay. And I'm just going to hold it down for a minute. And I do push a little bit on it, but not so much that you're going to smush the pad. Wipe that little bit up. I've got my Brutus Monroe Squeaky Clean. Move that one to the side. I'm just going to spritz this just a smidge. We're going to come in, we're going to wipe it off. And because I'm doing repeat stamping with the exact same stamp, got a little bit back there. I'm going to have to clean it off each time, but that's okay. And then we're going to come in with the Dried Marigold. The first one was Worn Lipstick, now, which is a oxide. Now I'm just going to do a regular old Distress ink in the Dried Marigold. Wipe that little bit off there. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to offset it just a little bit. And I am going to hold it down. Let it sit so that the ink absorbs into the paper. I have not primed my paper at all because if you use gesso, it is going to smear a little bit. Wipe that off. And then we'll come in with the Cracked Pistachio. we're gonna go back this way, let it sit, bring it up. In between each one, I am just going to spray and clean the stamp off. And then let's go with the abandoned coral. Bring this down a little bit. And just ink this up fairly well. And go back over here. Hold it down. And this is going to fill out a little bit. But I really like the color. And then we're going to come in with the picked raspberry. Now the Distress ink wipes off fairly well. The oxide not so much, so that's why I spray after the oxide. And get this down over here. Bring it up. Spray so I can clean off the stamp. Now I used to use baby wipes, and if you are, Huggies is the best. That's what Sarah Scraps does, use that as well. But I found I was going through so many of them, you guys. So to keep waste down, I just use my stamp cleaner and a rag. All right, we're coming in with the shaded lilac. And right about there. Hold that down, and then we're going to do it one more time in each of them. Wipe that off, and back with the worn lipstick. And then we're going to, what's the next one? The Marigold. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and then we'll come back, and I am going to use some of like the strawberry and this little citrus piece here to fill in these areas. And when I come back, then we'll do the next part. All right, so I've got all the repeat stamping done, kind of mixed it up. So now what I want to do is grab my very well-loved paintbrush and a smidge of water. Hope you guys can still see that. Am I still in frame? Yes, okay. I do have you zoomed in. And I am just going to squish this down on my glass board glass media mat. Now, FYI, I do have a code down below if you would like to pick one of these fabulous mats up. You use my code Rebecca20 and you will get 20% off anything in the store, and the affiliate link will be down there. So we're just going to go ahead and splatter just a bit of this around. Now the whole thing is not going to make it onto the layout because I'm going to shim it up just a bit. Okay, hold please. I've got my really dirty water that needs to be changed, but I always have 2 cups. So we're gonna stick that guy in there and wipe that up. And we're just gonna do all the colors. Just gonna squish it down, rinse that off. Little spritz of water, mix it up, and we're just going to fling some on here. I'm going to tap it for a littler drops. Words are hard even when I'm live. Now this pad right here, super inky. Look at that sucker. I was having trouble, well, not so much trouble, but I don't even have to spritz this one. We're just going to go with it. Maybe I'll have to spritz it. And I'm just kind of twirling my brush. And we're we're just going to come in and splatter everything up and down and try not to make a big mess. Okay, and it's okay if I like get anything on that right there because it's going to be trimmed off. Now we're going to come in with the picked raspberry. And as soon as I add water to the oxide, it's going to oxidize. See? So that's okay. And then I'm going to, I actually want to turn this because I'm getting way more splatters over here because I'm being a little bit more careful because all my stuff's sitting over there, but we're going to do some big splatters. Just make a very fun background. Move that to the side. And this is what I love about my, my mixed media mat, you guys. It wipes up so nice. Oh, Lord. Abandoned coral, which, no, this is more than lipstick. Abandoned coral in my oxide's the one that leaked. And you see I have everything tagged so that when it sits, I can see it. Yeah, that was one of the ones that it got leaked on. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a mess. So I had to switch up the way that I am storing those. Just so that we don't keep making a mess. I'm not really getting the edges very well. That's cool. Okay, let's write that up. And one more, which is the cracked pistachio. I keep moving that way, right? Just a fun, so, you know, if you don't have a lot of pattern papers, this is also a really cool way to make your own pattern paper, right? So you don't have to really worry about, you know, getting all the latest things. You can make your own. And then when it does hit, since, you know, obviously distress oxides and distress inks react with water, it's going to start reacting. Okay, let's clean that up. But yeah, so I think I color match those pretty darn well. That's why I like my swatch book. So I'm going to clean this mess up and let this dry for a minute, and we're going to come back and I'll have cut this down and we'll start the layout. All right, so I went with the L shape. So I've got the balloon here and I've got our fun background piece there. I went through everything in my kits and pulled out all the fruity stuff, just because I don't know about you guys, but I do find that stuff a bit harder to use. So when I have a layout that I can get them on, I tend to try to go more is more and use them all up. So basically everything from this month's How to Kill a Kit with Style, all the fruit, the ice creams, the crazy stuff that was in there is now rightfully on this layout. And I'm just trying to, like, you know, kind of nook and cranny a little bit of these things in here. So I've cleaned up that entire sheet that I had everything stuck on. I don't know if I showed you guys that. And I used everything. The only thing I have left to get on here is these fabulous Some Assemblage Required wood veneer pieces and these fun little shapes. One that says Adventure and these other three. And I am going to see where we can get these. I kind of like that one right there. Get that stuck in there. Just to fill up some of this, because I do have some dead space in that area because I kind of embellished, like I made this and then I went to the bottom, if that made sense. I did this portion and then I did this and then I filled that in. So I'm just going to get these kind of in here so that they fill up some of those little spaces. Okay, thinking I should have put that there. We're gonna tuck it in over here, and I'm totally fine with them all being down here, but that is one more package used up. And now we're gonna come in and we're gonna use up the rest of these sequins, right? So kind of dump those guys all out. And before I start doing that and just make a mess, I am going to use all of those. I'm just going to pop them in and around. I'm going to go just basically fill in that area. But first of all, I ran some things off the page because you guys know I like to do that. And I do that because I call it grounding. I have no idea what it's really supposed to be, but I just feel like it kind of shows that the layout doesn't just end abruptly. It's, you know, it's like the pattern paper keeps going. So we'll get that. And my little jewel picker. Grab this little guy, spread them out. And now let's just kind of add a few in here and there and see how many of them we can get used right on up. Maybe gonna put one up there. Just gonna, and I'm, like I said, I'm just gonna kind of dab here and there. So I definitely add some like, you know, glue, and then I'm gonna come in and kind of fill in the areas that I have all these little pieces, or glue dots pieces, whatever. And this is the Ice Castle from Spiegel Mom Scraps. I've had this for a minute or two. So see what we can get used up. I love, and the sequins, they add just a little bit. I'm going to treat them like enamel dots so that they, okay. Yeah, now I need to, then I can look and see, okay, I want another one here. And I have a lot more of these little guys, so we're just going to try to use as many of those as I can. And every once in a while I have to wipe this off because it gets, you know, sticky on it. All right, so we're going to put doop, 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 doop. And I do the I do the threes. I do go in like 3, you know, when I'm trying to, okay. Okay, this, I just gotta rub all of that off. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish all of this up, and then I'll come back with the completed layout. All right, so I have got all those sequins on. I have scattered them through all these little areas. And then I have one little strip right here. I love the way that the layout turned out. I wanted these sequins to look like I kind of just boom, threw the sequins at it, because I've even got them like kind of half on and half off. I've got them on the photos. I really love the stamping technique and all of the color that, you know, that we've used for this. I like the way that everything looks. I really like to create my own backgrounds, and I do hope that you join me once again in creating this and try this out. If you do, please share it on my Facebook group, which is linked down below with all my other fun affiliates. I also have a membership on my YouTube channel if you would be interested in playing along with us. I do members only videos, definitely one a week, but I'm trying to bump it up and get more and more. And it's just basically what my my member subscribers have asked for. And it's a slowed down version. I do not cut anything out. We create everything right then and there. And once a month, we kind of do a live Zoom call. Something that one of my other subbies had asked for as in the membership. They wanted to scrap together. So we just kind of hang out for a few hours once a month and get to know each other, and have a ball. So if you would be interested in that, click that join button. If you can't click the join button, there is a link in the description box. If you need help, message me, because sometimes people can see the buttons and sometimes they can't. I would love for you to join us, but I will definitely see you next Monday for another beginner's guide to mixed media, where we will play with something else. I'll see you then. Bye.